friends, welcome to your reading for November to the end of December. And as you can see, I've already shuffled and laid out the cards. It's worth reading both feminine and masculine readings, as these are relating to specific energies rather than gender. So see which one resonates most for you. They both will probably give you some insights into yourself, as well as your moon and rising signs worth checking out as well. So going straight to the reading, at the bottom of the deck we have the Seven of Swords, the Six of Swords, Five of Wands, and the Seven of Cups. So for the overall energy of this reading, it's clear that the Aries Divine Feminine is battling with some darkness at the moment. Now, in the traditional deck, the Seven of Swords is related to betrayal, feeling like something's been stolen from you, which may be the case for some of you. But in this particular deck, it's goes slightly deeper, especially in combination with these cards. There's a real sense that the Aries Divine Feminine is currently in a battle with the darkness, but specifically in a battle with darkness within herself. And there's very much a sense of her having projected that perhaps onto other people, and there's this sense of her having betrayed herself in that process. But from this reading, it's really clear that there's a real breakthrough and a change of perspective that is going to free her from this state where she achieves the state of balance and decides to move away from that darkness that she's faced. And that's really only possible when you go deep down and face those places, face yourself. So there's the Seven has come up twice, which relates to the Chariot as well. So there's a sense of her bringing together these two opposing energies and letting go of the belief that something's either good or bad, just recognizing that these are all aspects of herself, and this fear that she's had of the darkness, and perhaps having projected that onto others and running away from that darkness. And then there's this sort of realization that she's been running away from herself. The darkness that you perceive outside, externally to you, is always a reflection of something within you that needs to be seen. So this is really what she's grappling with, running towards the end of the year. So in the energy to release, we have the Four of Wands. So this is really about desires, her passions and creativity, and grounding that in the physical, this transformation that she's going to go through. And there's a sense here in the position that it's in, that this is really about the destructive aspect of fire. So Wands is related to fire, building a new foundation. So there is this sense that the fire has, perhaps her energy has been going where it shouldn't. She's been focusing her energies in the wrong things, putting her thoughts, emotions, her passions, and her focus on things that haven't been serving you, and allowing it to really consume you and just completely take over your life, and in quite a destructive way. And so there's also this sense of her also burning aspects of herself, in the positive way of reading this card, and using that energy to feed the next stage in her life. So building the foundations, allowing herself to grow, for those branches of creativity to grow out in all the vast possibilities of what she's going to become when she's transformed, when she's battled this demon that she's battling, when she's going to face it head on, and it's a sense of triumph when that old self is released, and she allows herself to transform. So in the energy to receive, the Death card, and yet to come, the Page of Wands. So this is really confirming that you're going through some massive changes at the moment, a huge transformation, profound change. And this really is about releasing old aspects of yourself that no longer serve you, sort of former ways of being, perceiving, and things that you used to put your energy into, recognizing that that's no longer who you are, and not how you want to express yourself moving forward. And this is very much related to your passions, your desires, your purpose in life, and stepping into this new path that you're feeling called to, your magnum opus, I think it's called. It's really about believing in yourself and stepping into this position of knowledge and power that you gain once you've broken through this transformation, and wanting to share that knowledge and power with others. And your magnum opus is really about your gift, your unique gifts that you're here to bring to the world and share with others. So that's really what is coming for you, feminines, when you break through and just embrace this change that is calling you. And there's this sense of balance. There's really this sense of merging of opposites, again, like with the chariots, bringing together different aspects of yourself, transmuting the darkness, turning it into this new golden aspect of you. And in the energy to receive just complete destruction, again, of your former self, to have the Death and the Tower card in the same reading. This is really profound change that you're going through at the moment. And it really is, again, about releasing things that have thrown you off balance, merging your masculine and feminine aspects of yourself. And the energy to give, we have the Empress. So this really is pointing towards nurturing, birthing a new way of being, a new creative idea is coming into fruition, something that you're very passionate about, something that is very related to your gift, your purpose, why you're here, what you have to share with the world. Divine inspiration. You're going to be a messenger. You're going to share your enthusiasm with such a strength of heart. And so this is a really strong message to follow the birth of this new idea that you're carrying, and it's time to take action and move it forward, to bring it into fruition. So for the overall lesson, we have the Four of Cups. So this is really about patience, working slowly on this problem, this challenge that you're going through, but proceeding, moving forward, one layer at a time, like a pearl, as you can see the shell on the shore, which is built, this precious pearl that is built over time with patience. Gradually it turns into the precious thing that it is, from nothing. So really creating this beautiful new idea and it being birthed into manifestation. It's also connecting to you trusting your intuition. There's a lot of messages that you're going to be receiving from your subconscious, from your dreams, and trusting your, how you're feeling. That's really the guidance of moving forward. How does something feel? And there's just this new clarity, where, following this tower, this death and tower moment, the illusions, there's a real sense of these illusions coming down where you've been betraying yourself with regards to what you have perceived as bad or darkness being around you, and recognizing it for what it is, and the huge aha moment of that crumbling down, these illusions that you've been basing your belief system on, just totally crumbling down, and this new beginning that is going to be built slowly and gradually into this beautiful jewel that it's going to become, building a new foundation, building a foundation on firm, solid ground. rather than this shaky uncertainty that it was based in before you went through these specific realizations or healings or integrations of yourself. So very powerful messages here. I will pull a couple of clarifiers to see if there's anything further to say about this, but I think it's a pretty straightforward message. Again, I've shuffled the cards already. And I'm just going to see if there's anything else to say here. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Swords. Yes, very much speaking your truth here. And the world, there's this huge completion that you're going through, and it's very much about you coming into balance with yourself, with your truth. What does that mean to you? Who are you following this destruction of this old way of being? What is your gift? Who are you going to become when you're being true to yourself? And, you know, there really is this completion of a huge, massive cycle when you've had this strength and courage to face your darkness. You reach the nine of coins is the clarifier for the energy to let go. So letting go of anything that is not true to you, letting go of anything doesn't reflect your purpose, your passion, what you're here to do, the gifts you have to share with the world, letting go of anything that is throwing you off balance. Integrating it though, you know, not running away from it, not this illusion state that you've been in before of projection onto others, but actually owning, taking responsibility, building this foundation from a more balanced, stable place, being true to yourself and who you are. And what happens with that is this integration, this union of opposites, of opposing aspects of yourself, and, you know, coming out of this state of confusion where you perhaps were feeling like you didn't know what to focus on or what path to take, and there's this real sense of integration where you're going to let go of that feeling. You're going to let go of all these different paths and options that have been pulling you in different directions and just come to this more balanced place. And that really is going to lead to a lot of clarity. Again, the Chariot 7 spiritual warrior, there's going to be this action movement, fast movement forward, and it's based in love. It's coming from the heart. And that's why it's going to be successful. You're going to have this new beginning where you're being true to yourself and you're moving forward with your passions, with your desires, with things that are important to you and that you're passionate about. And, you know, moving from a heart-centered space. And in your environment, the clarifier is the High Priestess and the Three of Fire, integrity, Three of Wands. So coming from this higher perspective where the threes relate to the Empress and the High Priestess is number 2. So there's this these represents the 2 divine feminines of the tarot. So the more earthly, nurturing mother, and then the High Priestess is your darker subconscious self, the mysterious hidden aspects of yourself, your shadow self. And so I really feel that these 2 aspects of yourself are basically coming into balance now, where you're able to integrate your wounds, your darker shadow self, with the aspect of yourself that you express to the world, and that sense of integration of them coming together and you moving forward. Again, balance again is this really key message, this balance in giving and receiving love in a way that you've not experienced before. And clarifying the Tower, there's this completion of a karmic cycle. This is really what's being shed at the moment with the Page of Cups, Daughter of Water in this deck. There's a new beginning in love, new cycles in how you relate in love emotionally, giving and receiving in a balanced way, and letting go of anything that does not reflect that of how you've been perceiving things previously. And, you know, you're going to literally not view life in the same way at all. By 2019, Aries, you really will be looking out from new eyes. The world is going to feel very different when you go through these this shedding, this realization and this integration again of your divine self and bringing that down into the physical, and those being very integrated within yourself, inner order, balance, finally letting go on these things that have been pulling you in different directions and making you feel out of balance. So again, we have the Ace of Water, Ace of Cups. Again, in a different deck, you've got this message twice. So really working on yourself, and you will reap the rewards of that, and being patient and putting the work in necessary to close this karmic cycles, to look at what is still there that needs to be seen, that you've perhaps not been wanting to see. Powerful shifts. Beautiful Aries. And I'm going to pull a final card for you as a little wisdom guidance from this reading. And that's from the Osho deck. Let's see what messages he has for you at this time. 1717 exactly, if that means anything to any of you. The Master. Aries is literally breaking through to mastering herself. Very, very powerful, these transitions, transformations that you're going through. And I shall read this message straight from the deck. Beyond the mind, there is an awareness that is intrinsic, that is not given to you by the outside, and it's not an idea. And there's no experiment up to now that has found any center in the brain which corresponds to awareness. The whole work of meditation is to make you aware of all that is mind and disidentify yourself from it. That very separation is the greatest revolution that can happen to man. Now you can do and act only on that which makes you joyous, fulfills you, gives you contentment, makes your life a work of art, a beauty. But this is only possible if the Master in you is awake. Right now, the Master is asleep, and the mind, the servant, is playing the role of master. And the servant is not even your servant. It's created by the outside world and follows the outside world and its laws. Once your awareness becomes a flame, it burns up all the slavery the mind has created. There's no blissfulness more precious than freedom, than being a master of your own destiny. The Master in Zen is not a master over others, but a master of himself or herself. Her every gesture and every word reflects her enlightened state. She has no private goals or desire that anything should be other than the way it is. Her disciples gather around not to follow, but to soak up her presence and be inspired by her example. In her eyes, they find their own truth reflected, and in her silence, they fall more easily into the silence of their own being. The Master welcomes the disciple not because she wants to lead them, but because she has so much to share. Together they create an energy field that supports each unique individual in finding her own light. If you can find such a master, you're blessed. If not, keep searching. Learn from the teachers and masters and move on. Keep on moving. So the message really here is that she is becoming her own master, and it really is about sharing those gifts, sharing that wisdom and knowledge that she gains through breaking through her mind, her darkness that has been sort of dividing her, and kind of shadowing the work that she's been trying to put out there. And there really is going to be this transformation and integration of these different aspects of herself, where she's able to step into her truth as a master of herself, of the feminine, and different aspects of the feminine within herself. And how beautifully she's going to use that to share her gifts with others and inspire others to find their own truth, to find their own light, and recognize that we don't need any teacher. We have all that knowledge and wisdom within ourselves. Much love to you, dear Aries. Until the next time.